Welcome to Game Data. Just as a heads up, this week's video is just the demo portion of last week's video on the S Pen. We figured we'd split this off into a separate video in case there were any folks who only wanted to see how a workflow would actually work on the new Galaxy Z Fold 3 5G. Still a mouthful. We'll be back next week with more new content. Until then, enjoy this Clip Studio Paint demo. I definitely had fun creating it. For today, I'm working in CSP because I, for some reason, enjoy paying monthly fees to software companies. And what I'm going to do is work through some basic sketching, lining, and coloring for a basic character, Litwick, just to demonstrate what it's like to draw on this device. Getting started is extremely easy. I just need to open up the app, which I already have open, and then create a new file. So, by default, I work in a 5000 by 7000 pixel canvas, 300 ppi. That's what I like to do. You can do whatever you want when it's your turn to draw. Once inside, it's just a matter of choosing the right tool. I really like a harder airbrush tool because it mimics the default round brush in Photoshop. Ooh, nice. And you know, it's always good to make sure that you have that extra layer so that you're not drawing on the base. But once you have all that done, just have a go at it. But before we start, let's consider some references. As an avid Pokemon nerd, I can draw Litwick from memory without any trouble, but let's say I didn't and needed to check out the general form and shape of a little candle dude. This is where the Fold really starts to shine. I can obviously import an image into my CSP canvas, which is what I typically do on a larger computer. But I tend to find that a bit wonky to work with on a smartphone display. Instead, I'm going to open up my sidebar, drag edge onto half of the screen, and just do a quick search for Litwick. From here, I have all the images of the internet, and then I'll just select this first one. And voila, there I go. I have my reference side by side. I can resize this a little bit to give myself a little bit more room if I want. And I can get started with that. But since the screen real estate is really limited here, instead of keeping it like this on the side, I'm actually going to float this out into pop-up. So now I have it in this nice floating window that I can resize however I want. It's a little bit jankier to work with this in general, but it gets the job done and gives me a general idea of what I'm drawing. And when I don't need it, I can just condense it down so that I have all that extra space to work with. So now that we have that out of the way, it's time to get started. And since this will take me a long time, I'm actually going to speed up this entire process so that y'all aren't waiting on me to finish anything in real time, because that would be kind of terrible. So, wish me luck. Okay, there we go. The sketch is finished, and now what's next is to do the line work. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add another layer so that I'm not doing all the line work on one single layer. It's pretty much a nightmare. And I'm going to select a pen. So let's see, I have a G pen right here that I can use. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like the general size of it, like the general feel of it. And one thing that I am going to make sure is that stabilization is turned on, because it helps make lines a bit smoother, and it just feels better in general when drawing on small canvases. So cool, it's turned up to 30, which is a pretty decent setting for this app in particular. And I have that selected. I'm going to lower the opacity of my sketching layer and go on to do the lines. Wish me luck. Yeah, line work is a lot of just undoing and redoing until you get exactly what you're looking for. And sometimes you never actually get it, and that's fine too. Art is all about having fun. It's about enjoying the creation process, and if you're not doing that, then, ooh, it's a sad day. Cool. Okay, and that's the line work done. Now I can just hide my sketching layer, and yeah, that's not looking too bad. So next up is just adding some basic color. Typically, actually in this step, I would have all of my line on a vector layer, which I believe you can actually do vector layer shenanigans in this mobile version of Clip Studio Paint, but we're just doing a quick thing right now. And I don't need the functions of a vector layer, which will allow me to like pop out this little divot in the line, make it look a little nicer. So yeah, we're just moving directly onto the color. So before I do anything, I'm going to create a palette for myself. And basically that just means I'm creating a new layer on top of everything. And then I'm going to select a few colors based on my reference. So we have some purples, some blues going on. So let's see if we can select something that looks just about right. Maybe a little bit more saturation. Okay, cool. And for this, let's get a marker on here. Let's do the Milli pen. Make sure everything's cool. Yeah, those settings look about right for me. And then I'm just gonna dab here. That's looking a bit dark, so maybe we go with something a little bit lighter. And fill over that. And then for the lighter tone of it, I don't want to use pure white, so let's go with something close to it with some blue in it. And then we need something for the darker purples going on in the flame. Let's go right here. Yeah, just eyeballing everything right now. Good, if I were doing this with plenty of time to go, I would probably stress over all of this, but not the case right now. We're just doing something really quick and easy. And then the color of the eye too. So can we get a little yellow going on here? Maybe like right there. Cool, that's maybe a little darker than I want. So let's go with a lighter color up here for the unshaded portion. Cool. So we'll hide the reference again, and then we'll create some different layers underneath where we're actually putting it. So underneath the body, it's going to be one, and then underneath the flame is going to be another one, so that we have separation going on and can do some kind of 3D effects. Cool. So coloring time. Yeah, don't know if you can tell it on there, but as I'm going across the crease, it's causing my pen to jump a little bit. I don't know that it's causing any errors necessarily, but it definitely feels really weird. There you have it. So there's definitely more that could be done. We can blend the colors in a little bit more, maybe do a little bit better with some of the spot checking for filling in certain colors. But in general, this is an example of how you can use a device like the Fold to go from sketch to line work to coloring all in a very mobile package. And honestly, going through it, like I said, the only real concern is this crease and it just feeling a little bit awkward to move the pen across. Otherwise, it works out perfectly well. I can do everything on it without very much trouble. Overall, the Fold 3 is very much a very capable sketchpad. Thanks for watching. Like I said, we'll be back next week with more new content. In the meantime, if you want to see more art or follow up on any updates that we have, be sure to follow us on Twitter or Tumblr. Until next time, catch you later.